All right, thank you very much for joining us today. We have a chance to look at the field of energy language. How do we speak to others with our personal energy? I call this conscious energetics because the skill and the abilities that I'll talk about today have to deal with how do you energize yourself in a manner that really helps facilitate complete discussion and gives everyone a chance to enjoy you as a participant in their teams and in their business opportunities that they're going to share with you. So what I'd like to do then is show you the agenda for today's work. We have a brief review of the chakras. Western civilization has pretty much turned this into common language, and there are no hidden secrets about the fact that chakras might be a benefit to examine for study. Then we take a look at the tree of life. The Hebrew persuasion for thousands of years has been talking about the benefits of the Sephiroth in the tree of life. The next is how do we develop our awareness skills to know that we've got our energy turned on or it's at a low ebb. And the next one is managing your energy with a conscious intent of how to really and truly be aware of what it is that you've got going on out there and what you're sending. Consciously managing energy takes meditation, ability to really focus, quiet yourself, and drive the good energy in what I call my oversphere. And that's the little wrapper that's around the outside of me that people bump into when they get within my proximity. And I can communicate that way by hosting a warm place for them to come and be immersed in my ideas and my beliefs and all the activity that I bring with my positivity. So I'd call to your attention my little note at the very bottom of this agenda. Throughout the whole presentation, I'm going to be asking about heightening your awareness of what you are noticing. Noticing is almost a forgotten skill with people focusing so intently on their present state, so that we're wrapped outside of us with a future state, a potential state. We tell people a lot of things with the energy that we're carrying. Remember, when you think you see something, that's just about the strictest form of reality there is. You know, cause yourself to be aware of and notice what you think you see. Fully open your heart and prepare to receive. And I think you'll start to be a little more sensitive to the things that you'd like to have happening in and around you in this lifetime. The reason why is the people on the planet Earth right now belong to so many teams that they can't keep it sorted out. And they try and blend it and blur it and makes it a little bit tough for us all to get an identity established. So look at this as a fun little way to think about it. You're only around the team for a certain period of time, and certain members of that team will never see the other people that are in your little wrapper there. So if you'll see on the left side, got the little sun star there, that's me and my concept of what divine wisdom is. I meditate by myself. I come back into my inner sphere, which is this great, big, old, huge egg down here. And so I bump into one of these guys, that's my wife. And then I get down here into this is my exercise team that I go and exercise and work out with. And on the even bigger side, I've got two daughters hanging out there that really love their father. So this is the way this whole thing kind of works for me right now, because I've totally retired and this is my life. So let's take a look then about what's the first way that we can start to look at communication. I think in terms of layers. A nice superliminal, the higher mental, which I think has the best frequencies and vibrations because they're so fine. Fine, like little itty bitty mist particulates in a little cloud around me. And It's an inaudible stimulus that when you walk into my presence, you get some little jolt of motivation or mobilization would cause you, if you choose, to take some action or to help give freely of your personal energy to a cause or some sort of learning that you might be pursuing. Bottom there, the other dark letters, subliminal. This is like high school playground push and shove energy, and it's below your physical sensation. You won't notice it that way, but you get an unconscious awareness like, oh, I should stop doing this. It's bothering somebody. That's the way a subliminal force might hit you, or it's a behavioral something that's been learned, but you unconsciously have fight or flight syndrome that's working at that particular level. Where I'd say our playground is, where we're going to do the heavy lifting on this type of a discussion, is the interpersonal. And this is the consciousness. That's why conscious energetics works for us. In many cases, I feel that I'm being guided by my non-physical helpers. And I get things up at the supraliminal and subliminal from outside my body, but inside I'm in control of things that I do that are dimensional, like I'm building something or I'm making a dinner or I'm doing something outside in the yard. Everything is see, feel, and hear at this level. What the other substances are in your ether or in your oversphere is that you can see frequencies and colors as one when you get the waves coming over you that make you feel as though you're not alone. You can feel hot and cold and solid and vapor and that kind of stuff, but it's the same sort of a situation when you're working with consciousness. So what are you aware of? You think of that just for a moment. What is it that you do that you can tell me right now? And we're not going to actually discuss it, but if you were to sit down and write an assessment of yourself, what is your interpersonal consciousness noticing now in your life? These are pretty wild, exciting times outside your body. Your confusion with the news and friends and sometimes personal family. There are things that you're noticing that are not even spoken, and you watch it with your non-physical eyes. So let's say that this business about chakras is already pretty well known to you. You know about all the dimensions of the 7 chakras, and you know pretty much about what each one has as far as qualities. I've captured that here in this chart on the right side. Alex Gray's picture is a little bit unsettling when you peel the grape. You take the skin off the human. That might be what you would discover there on the table. But here we look at the way that the spacing and the intervals are on the chakras. And I was having some problems with my heart. I was disappointed. I felt deflated. I ran out of energy. And I was not receiving love because I was not paying attention well enough. And I wanted to stop being outside my body with my love and get back inside and make my love work for me. So I did with a pitch pipe, the tone of F, and then my sound for that particular meditation that day, each day, was going to be A, H, like and then bringing this down into my body and holding me in that vibrational space made a change that I'm able to show you because of the autonomic bio well. That's this yoga right here, BIOWELL. That Portland Natural Health, when I was having trouble with my heart being all over the place, it was on the wrong side of my dimensions. This is extrovert intention on the left side of the up and down median on each one of these lines. And I needed to move my heart from introvert to extrovert. And I needed to take my sexual energy and power and control and keep those guys inside this extrovert, not letting them hang out here in introvert. As I pulled them back and I settled down very, very carefully, I was able over a period of a month to get my heart aligned out here where I wanted it and bring it back, leaving my throat well balanced here towards the central 8 meridian, bringing my third eye capability of hidden knowing and seeing, and then my crown more able to receive directly. So I moved from roughly, you take this number over here, it's 84% aligned with that bar, and it came out at 96% aligned after my meditation for 1 month on the note F. Let's go back just for a real quick second here. Green calcite. Doesn't look green here, but it sure does down in my little office. But I had it in my presence, and I still do, because I think it's a good one for me to communicate with and remember. Pink or light green, I was thinking light green, calcite, tone F. Okay, you get the idea. Took a little work, cleaned it up a little bit. It was good for me, and it was good for the people that bumped into me, because my agenda was not push and shove energy, and just a little bit more introverted on my other energy that I had. This is really big here in the third dimension. Therese is one of the ones, Therese Anthony, HeartMath Institute. She lent me a nice CD that I saw a lot of her contemporaries. It gave me an opportunity to work and discover some of the other language that I could use here for this presentation today. You go down here, just one. We're looking at the tree of life now. We're looking at the 4 layers in the Hebrew religions: archetypes, creative types, formative types, and materialization here. This is good stuff. When we look at the area that we're going to do the most work in, it's right here in the middle. This is your workspace here, and this is where you want to do your personal growth and your self-development here. This is the area where we are actually in the 3rd dimension all the way, because down here on the bottom in the manifest earth, we've got the elements of minerals and solids. Up here, we have the very highest point of ether. That's not going to be a nice place for a human 3rd dimensional person, because we don't even have a presence there. You come down further into this and you get the 2 pillars of life, Joachim and Boaz, that are out here on the side of this picture. Both of those are very, very powerful, because this is the male and female energy of the universe, and it manifests itself down through the chart as far as the elements that happen in the 3rd dimension. And you can, I've discovered through my studies, you can use, if you're able to recall your strengths, your past life skills and abilities, your experiences that you had before are in many cases resident in your deep memories, and they'll feel very comfortable to you when you get a chance to talk to someone, or in fact notice things that a person that's in your team or in your family you notice something that they're capable of doing, and you want them to work with you on developing these foundation, logic, and decision-making around procedure, beauty, taking really good care of the surroundings in your home, in your yard, in your community, and in yourself. And you go up, 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 and things become less and less compressed. Splendor takes an exact dimension to work, and then the eminence from that comes out. Victory is a pretty hard-won thing because the word itself means that there was something else that was suppressed or deflected. You get into mercy. One of the kindest things out of the heart energy is having to you show mercy towards someone who is deserving. And severity is that tough love you give to your son or daughter or your community that you're representing and participating in. So that these are all things that you work with in that third dimension. Now let's take another look at what we're going for here. Becoming aware of your natural affinities. Which ones of your daily routines are going to give you the conscious creation of awareness, of movement of energy, things going out, things being received, the pleasant sensations of love, as my life right now is being heightened awareness here. This is what I'm noticing now, is what is it that's coming and going from me as a little lightning rod here in the universe, emanating some personal private energy. So this is my little buddy right here. You cannot not communicate. I'm serious about this because your lights are always on and you just don't put them out. They stay as developing layer on layer of good stuff as you accumulate your potential here in this lifetime here. This is a time in the universe where we can really make some improvement and changes. We're almost giving God's permission to give more than we receive. And we're working on the conscious exchange of really, really good thoughts and energy. And the idea is it comes in the form of a blessing, give it in the form of a blessing. Let this radiate the good blessings. So I have a friend that I met at Merrillhurst University when I was a professor there a couple of years ago. She's a cancer survivor. And she was a lot of fun to be around. She had a really big case of the positive attitudes. So she said that she was nearly dying and running out of energy. And she said there was a person there at the university up on the hill here in Portland that taught her a little song to sing in the morning. And she did it as a part of her meditation. It's a silly little song. It's kind of like something that gets stuck in your head and can't get rid of. So think nice thoughts about me later on today when this little thought pops into your head. So it's a cool song. Stand by. Teresa's right. I need to breathe more properly here tonight and give clarity in my voice. So let's go for it here. Listen quietly and I'll run through it once. Every little cell in my body is happy. Every little cell in my body is well. Happy and well, happy and well. Every little cell is happy and well. How about that? It's just so much fun to be healthy and happy. So there you go. It makes my hair stand up, you guys. And I'm very conscious of the fact that I'm running some energy just now. Here's my next step though. And you're learning happy and you're learning well. And all of a sudden you go, oh, what am I supposed to really do? There's something in here that could be a whole bunch of good advice. And it's so simple. It's alliterative on the left side of the columns. You can start up from status quo and just take your whole team down with fear, intimidation, really bad leadership where you chew them out in public and praise them in private. Got it backwards. So I don't like to see really good ideas die. I want ideas to come flying right into me. I want to be a good leader that people trust with their good ideas. And maybe the timing's wrong, but the idea is right. And I want folks to go that direction. So here is exactly how I do it as a leader. I communicate often and I use the same language so it's not confusing. I help people that are having trouble getting started by asking what it is that I can do to help give them courage and reinforce that. And then the next one is about commitment. This is what I like to do. What are you noticing? So what? And then now what? I like to get a feeling of lightness around things by not being jokey, totally serious, but asking why more often than what. If they've got the idea of why, many of our current civilizations are looking at, if you can understand the why, you can do pretty much everything you want. And that gives us this business right here, co-creation. That's where there is no one particular leader. There is a team that's highly functional and capable of achieving fulfillment on the boss's goals and objectives and timelines. That helps. It's kind of cool. Co-creation. You work with God, you work with whatever force or system that you've got in place to keep you healthy. And this is a good deal. It goes just really positive, and fulfillment surrounds you. People see you as an entirely capable, sufficient participant in their world. That makes you a blessing. And it's easier to work with that kind of person. So, in anticipation of being successful at this, think of a future state where you're going towards an objective or a desired state, and notice what it is that you're noticing. Turn on your radar. Really and truly pay attention to all the sensations in the nervous system. Your autonomic nervous system will tell you when you're in presence of really, really good things, or run, Forrest, run. So notice things in terms of your future state. Visualize your intent. And in this, I'm going to cover some of this here in the next few slides. What will you see? Based on what it is that you're wanting to notice. Then what will you feel? And then what will you hear? Here are a couple things to just have framed up in your mind to help you go in this direction. Remember, you have alternative choices. Why? Because you bumped your nose on something else and you know, I am not going to do that again. I have a choice. I can do it different. Or the current situation is where I'm thinking, I wonder if I ever seen a movie like this, if I ever heard somebody talk like this in the restaurant while I was having lunch, or just opportunities for you to see things situationally. My current situation is what is giving me the opportunity. I might as well mine it like I'm looking for gold and go in with a kind of a prospector's attitude, and then develop the aptitude for your personal growth and development based on this little anticipation slide that I've got right here. This is how I handle it in my life, and it's worked incredibly well. So here we are. These are the manifestations. You can go back when we get the video posted on our website, and you can get these lists, this one and the next two. You're going to, all of a sudden, with your meditations, heightening your awareness and sensitivity, you'll get a chance to see some tints and hue. And it's not because you've got a diabetic eye problem. It's because you've got this new capability. It's a very latent and wonderful capability that'll give you feelings for a person's aura, or for a yard, a garden, the life that's in there and the love that's going on outside your home, and then beyond that in your other communities that you're operating in. The next thing is others. How do you see them? Do you see them as a threat or as something that you just know that by working with them, the two of you are going to combine and do really incredible things? What your potential is could be achieved by using groups of others. So then the next thing to look at is surroundings. The last two are kind of like ancient wisdom, and you see the way things are arranged and geometrically situated. This takes additional study way beyond this particular presentation. But sacred geometry has been around, numerology on number sets has been around for ages. And I mean really and truly ages, long, long times. And this is where I think I have some help. It's the combinatorial power. Who do I see? Who do I help? Who helps me? This whole list right here is what I see. There it is. The first one is C. The next one of my linguistic programmings would be, I have the ability, and I think that you may feel it when there's something that happens, like washes over you. You get a presence that is a blessing or an inspiration, or this is where we get intuition. This is where we get the incentive to really love God, is when these waves just go like, whoa. It's a really nice feeling when you're perhaps working on a project or you're getting a chance to do something in your mind where you're designing and developing something brand new. So the little spritzes are quite similar to that, but that really is a kind of a very pleasant sensation in your nervous system. It's like rainstorm. It just happens at your nerve endings. Doesn't make a sound, but you can sure feel it, quite an impact. And it's really pleasant once it happens. Vibrations, like low is really down at the bottom of your ethos, and you can get vibrations that are very close together in really high squeak type of a vibration. I have it in my ears all the time because I have a hearing problem. But the other part about this is what's neat about heavy and light. Heavy is where you feel like you're really compressed and you don't want to get out of bed. Light feels like you want to run and jump, and warm and cold. How about that? Frequencies again, harmonics, mind sounds, and this is really cool because what you hear is something that only you can hear. It's an extremely personal way of getting messages. And your mind sounds can be the words that you say to yourself. I am the light, I am protected, I am capable. All these mind sounds are the ones that you're thinking out loud to yourself inside your head. Where I find is my biggest grounding is if I can take and get all my good thoughts together for the day, I can get an array of sounds that's like music, an actual chord that I can do when I do my meditations. And it's not manifest when I sit down for my relaxation. It's manifest when I stand back up. And I've had a chance to go through this washing of all these manifestations of what I see, I feel, and I hear. It's pretty exciting. Now to activate this stuff, conscious use of personal energies is really kind of interesting. Actively integrate opportunities. In other words, I really go looking for chances to help. Or I'll walk over to somebody and say, hey, you're doing good. Looking like this is a good day for you. And then that's a good opening for discussion on next steps. Seek other like-minded individuals. It's like being the three little robins in the mother robin's nest. And we all sit in there and we all grow and we all get big enough so we can fly. And when we fly, we go out there and yay, we're together again in the wind. Positive participant. Dang, you can be in a huge group of people and you can make it all more beneficial for you if you're really positive and you think about, well, what if? Have you considered? Can we do this together? So in this part of it here, perhaps the most germane momentum is the big ones down here. Inspire others. How do you inspire people? Well, know them well enough to know what their language is. They're conversing with you about so many personal things. All their little secrets are right there for you. And it's extremely helpful if you fully participate and you turn on your radar, do your part. Fun, huh? Activations right here. What about this? Release your past, because it sometimes locks you down. Examine my past performance, where if I didn't do something right, I say, I'm never going to do that again. Actually, it's a bad idea. Examine your past performance, and if you did a bad job, consider your intent. Maybe that intent might have caused you to bump your nose on your own parameters, your own measurements, your own timeline. Something was out of whack there on a past performance that caused a bad problem. Now let's turn this coin over and examine my past performance on something that was wildly successful, way beyond my personal capability, but it just happened wonderfully. What was my intent? What caused that big old hole in the universe to open up and give me all that success? So then the next thing is how did you behave? Because performance and behavior are two visual things that you can see here in the third dimension. And if you get those right, it will, if you can continue to follow the good examples of yourself that you're providing yourself, it's going to have impact on your outcome, which is really cool, because you get a self-fulfilling prophecy then. It says, oh, I am here for a reason. I see this as a success. I see that I can. Well, what the problem with the human is that we tend to overdo it, and we find out that we've got the gold mine, and we get out of balance or our focus shifts. So in my Vespers at night, when I'm going to bed, I sit on the edge of my bed and think quietly, where I give thanks for the opportunity to learn today. I acknowledge my common and corporeal power of each of you that are paying attention today. Thank you for being here. Thank you for helping me grow. And thank you for helping get me started here on this particular path today. One other thing you can do while you're here in the third dimension, and you can reframe, and it's one of these things that sometimes it's really tough to take me out of the equation on how to have success, because I get my own way. And if I think I can't, or I think I can, Henry Ford said, you're right. So I like to think I can, little choo-choo train, I think I can. It's kind of foolish, but it sure is good. My other point is in today's electronic technology, a lot of us have got stuff around us. I can see I've got a Wi-Fi set, I've got in the house, intercom, I've got my cell phone, a printer, I've this beautiful computer I'm working with. I've got so much technology around me, you wonder how it can exist. So in this thing, we have a big campaign right now that's really cool. Avoid driving distracted. You never seen that on the television, reading it in the papers, or for some way you've had a chance to encounter. Avoid living distracted is very similar to avoid driving distracted. So here's my tip. Realistic goals, attainable, SMART. We're looking at realistic goals, and then gently adjust, because a wide sweeping adjustment will knock you off your pins for a while. It'll take you away from your main focus, and it'll cause you to be internally ajar, and you won't like yourself for a little bit if your goals are too monstrous, or if it's just not going to fit right now at this time in your life. So this word gently is the operative term here in this slide. The other thing is, I love timelines, actualization of outcomes. So what we want to remember from this business over here, the realistic goals, need to be time bound and measurable. This cool thing here about involving others early and often. It's okay to bing ideas off people anymore. They're not going to think of you as just completely nuts and off your rocker. You say, here's what I've been having some trouble with, and this is what I'm thinking. Can you help me with some ideas? You know what? That's a blessing for another person. It validates the fact that they are truly a trusted agent, a good friend, somebody that you can keep them for your own resource. That's cool, man. So here's all my nice stuff that just in your doldrums to your melancholy time and developing how your momentum is going to work. I like to think of, pay attention to my daily practices. Meditation in the morning, prayers and thank yous at nighttime. Be the light for other people that are looking for a path on how to get work complete, how to keep their yards nice. All the crazy little things that you're going to have when you have a physical body. Be the light. Lead the others. Follow me. So what I think is in this little balancing list, you can work down this on your own here. Challenging work, doing boring tasks. Okay. Recharge. Expand. Look at this list. And see if you get some ideas about recharging. What you might want to reduce your energy on the other list on the right. So here's the whole thing in a nutshell. This is the way I look at this and say, oh my goodness, this is so cool. What if I took my Alex Gray picture over here on the left of your screen, and I put it on my producer, and then I brought this guy over here. This is the Sephiroth, the 10 Sephiroth of the Tree of Life, and I brought them over here. What would happen? When I walked into an area and people were encountering me for the very first time, it would be the opportunity for all my audience, all my perceivers, all my people that were capable with the noticing skills to get a hold of me pretty nicely, and they would be able to know exactly what I'm bringing to the game. So let's talk and think about that for just a minute. What I know from countless eons before recorded history is that mankind was aware, or the humans, or perhaps subhumans, were aware that there was this wall of energy just rolling around the outside of them on this outer sphere I described earlier. And this was originally discussed as the perfect man, Adam Kadmon, in the great form of religion. And in the 10 Sephiroth, as I discussed it before, there was an interlayment of the 310 knot. It'll take more research before you can pull this one out and understand what's going on. But what I wanted to point out to you through this slide is that this little hula hoop going around the middle of the perfect man. For the Dalai Lama, they say that his little band, the Taurus knot, is so huge that he doesn't fit in a building. It actually extends beyond the edge of his temple and goes into his local community. And these are the energies from the same tree of life up here in the left corner. And this is the loop that energy travels as it goes down through this sash that goes around. So it goes like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And you can see the travels that go around here, 7, 8, 9, 10. And it's kind of cool because you wouldn't know that if I didn't show it to you in this picture. That's like your energies is playing bumper cars and you're going around and around and around and around, and you're like an energizer bunny. It's a great feeling of massive power. So my closing slide here today is about energy linguistics, the language of energy. Here's my picture with things tying together. There's the crown chakra all the way through the root chakra and the colored ones. And these balls are the tree of life from the Judaism. And the tree of life has got some stuff in it. And this business about chakras, it all enters through the divine down into the human and out into the firmament, the earth. Kind of neat. You're like a great big giant lightning rod. So I like to think of this as metta, noticing from above. And then just keep it in balance and use your focus well. So Taras and Judy and Sheila, if you guys want to come off mute, you can ask questions now and see how this might be used in your lives. Okay, Judy, first up.
I am overwhelmed. We have had a friendship for years, and I know pieces of this, but to have a visual presentation to make it so cohesive has really helped me. I am just sitting here pretty dumbfounded about the impact it has on me, plus the knowledge that you have parceled out to me in bits and pieces being put together in something now a little more holistic.
Well, thank you, Judy. Sheila, what have you got there on the sounds, vibrations, tones, harmonics, and frequencies?
I'm sorry, Ron, I missed that.
I was just asking for inputs on the values for this particular presentation, your personal life, the impact, and perhaps potential.
Yeah, you know, I love the overlay of the Sephra on the chakra system, and just, you know, sort of pulling together the fact that, you know, our chakras are bi-directional and that we can consciously activate our energy system to impact the world around us. So well done, Ron. Thank you.
Thanks, and Sheila.
I'm blown away. This is really good. So I agree with Judy there. This is very informative. I heard stuff that I've never heard before, and the presentation is put together in such a way that it's all fresh. It's just not a rehash of the same old, same old. I'm really impressed with this. Um, uh, and so the slides, I made notes. The slides were good, very good and informative, very informative, and with the new information. Um, yeah, I will take this away, and I actually copied some onto my my home screen here, and so I can actually meditate on them. And I do have some suggestions, and I'll send you an email with those because they're nitty gritty details, and uh, and so I don't want to take up everybody's time with those. So there's only a couple.
Thank you, Sheila. I'm now anxiously await making improvements based on your comments. So, Therese, your partnership here on producing this and getting it ready for prime time is really appreciated. And with that, you guys, I'll tell you what, right now, with through a name down the bottom, check out Vibration, the Symphony of Life. Just type that into your search bar and you'll be amazed about some work that Therese was involved in during this lifetime. It works wonders for me because I don't have the language in all cases, and that was the one that helped me language at the front of this presentation. So again, Therese, thank you very much.
Oh, thank you, Ron.
Yes, very, very delightful.
Thank you for inviting me to watch. I really appreciate that.
All right, you're very welcome.